In this video, we're gonna work on the comments page that will display a list of comments for one specific post. If we look here at our page, it's a pretty simple page with not a lot of things going on here. So if we deconstruct it, I can see that there are two main components. First of all, there is this big list of comments. And at the bottom here, we have an input box that displays the image of a user, the actual input, and the button here, post. So we already have some of the things, for example, a comment component, but it looks a bit different. So we will have to adjust it as well. All right, so let's get into our code and see where do we start from. The first thing that I want to do is to grab some dummy data in our assets data folder in order to have what to display, what to work with. So I'm gonna grab this comments.json that you can also download from the platform. And this file contains an array of comments, and every comment contains ID, comment, and user. So once we have this dummy data, let's go ahead and do the next steps. So what I want to do next is to create a separate folder for our comment screen, because this is going to be a separate page in our application, so it deserves a comments screen folder here. Let's add also the file comments screen.tsx, and here let's generate the component. For the text, I'm gonna write simply comments to see if we see this component on the screen. And now let's go in our app.tsx, and where we import our home screen, let's also import our comment screen /comment screen. You can go ahead and add the index file here in order not to have to import it like this for the folder name and the file name. And also let's not forget to rename the name of our import, and where we render our home screen, let's replace it with our comment screen to see what we are working with. Okay, so once we see the comments on the page, that means that we have everything and we can close the other files except our comment screen and start working on this one. So we will start with a list of comments. As you already may guess, we will work with a flat list because it's a list of items based on a data array. So let's first of all import the flat list from React Native and our data array. So import comments from assets data and here comments.json. Okay, now instead of these comments, I'm gonna go ahead and render the flat list. For the data, we send the comments dummy data that we just imported. And for the render item, it's going to be a function that receives the item as a prop, and it will return a comment component because we already have it. If we look in the components, we already have a comment there. We implemented it when we were working on the post component. So let's import comment from components, then comment. Yeah, let's do it from here. And let's render the comment and send also the comment prop, our item that we receive here. Save. And right away we should see a list of usernames, comment, and on the right we see the icon to like that comment. If we look at our design, yeah, like there are some differences between the comment component that we see in the post page and the comment component that we need to render here on this page, on the comments page. Because here we have more space and we are able to render also the image and some buttons below the comment like reply, the number of likes, and so on. So there are two ways to accomplish this. Either we create a separate component for this page, where we reuse the same component and send some property that will determine in which context are you rendering this. For example, we can send here like is rendered in comments page property, and we can check if that property is true. Then we also render the image of user. When it comes to these decisions, I usually think about the amount of differences between the two components. If there are a lot of differences, then putting everything into one component and sending different types of properties that specify and adjust some things will only mess up everything. Like you'll have a lot of if statements, a lot of conditionals, and it's gonna be a mess. However, in some situation when only a minimal set of differences between these two scenarios, then we can merge it into the same component and manage these differences with some additional props. So for this use case, I think I'm gonna show you how to do these changes with props. So yeah, like first of all, what do we need to render here? We also need to render the image. So the image is gonna be, if we look here, it's gonna be a separate column in our 3-column row. So we have here our comment. This is the first column right now. The icon is the second column. That's why here before the text, inside this view, we are going to render an image. The source, the URI is going to be comment.user.image. And for the style, we can do styles.avatar. Let's not forget to import this image and define the styles for this avatar, because without that we're not gonna see it. So avatar, I don't know, with 50 and aspect ratio, let's do 1 to be width and height 50. Okay, we see it. I think the size is gonna be okay. The only thing, let's add border radius to make it round, 25. That's good. If we look at the difference here, probably it should be a little bit smaller. So I don't know, 40 is gonna be enough. Yeah, 40 should be good. Now regarding the spaces, the space between the border of the phone and the actual image shouldn't be managed from here. It should be managed from our comment screen. And we are going to add some padding to our flat list. Should we? Yeah, probably we can do that here. So style, let's do, I don't know, padding 10. And this will add, yes, space on the left, right, and on the top. However, for the spaces between the image and the text, we can easily do that from here. So let's see, we have at the moment on the icon some margin horizontal, and I will probably take this margin horizontal from here and add it to the comment text, because this comment text in the middle can have margin horizontal 5, and this will add space both on the left and the right. Yes, this is now probably better. All right, so the next difference that we see here is the footer of the comment that contains 3 items. One is the time that it was posted, the number of likes, and the reply button. So let's see where we can add this. So as we can see, it's just below the comment text. In our code, the comment text is this one. If we simply add here below the, for example, text, I don't know, 2 days, and whatever text we have there, 5 likes, and here a reply. If we just simply add them like this, they're going to be added to the right of our comment text, because the parent of these 3 text boxes is our comment, which displays everything in the same row. So for that reason, we're gonna have to encapsulate all of these text boxes in a view that will represent the middle column, right? So if I put them inside a view like this, save, it will kind of automatically work. It will move this text, footer text below our comment. However, and it works because by default, the flex direction of any view is a column. So yeah, now we made sure that this text is on top of these 3 texts. Now we need to make sure that these 3 texts on themselves are in the same row, not as they are right now on top of each other. For that reason, we're gonna put them inside another view that will represent our footer row, like this. So let's add style equal styles dot footer. Okay, we will probably need some style. So let's, for all of them. Okay, and what else? Okay, and yes, and for this view that represents the middle column, we will add some style, because I'm gonna explain you in a bit why. Styles dot, yeah, middle column. I'm gonna keep it simple and name it like this. Okay, so let's add all of them here and start styling them. Okay, like this. So with a footer, this is the easiest one, because the only thing that we need to do is flex direction row to render all the items inside our footer in the same row. For the footer text, in order to add some spaces between items in the footer, I'm gonna add margin horizontal 5. We should move them apart. Yes, now they look better. And what else? Yes, we see that we lost some of the heart icons, only except for this one. And why is that happening? That is happening because previously our comment text was the direct children of our whole comment component. And this comment text contained the flexed one, which said that take the rest of the space. Now that we added another parent for the comment text, we need to move the flex one from here to the middle column, because the middle column should have a flex one. And if we do that, now all our icons came back and they look good here. All right, to add some space between comments, we can either, where is the whole comment? Here is the whole comment style, so I can move it on top. We can probably do it like here, margin bottom 10, and this will add space between the comments themselves. But because this component is used in our home feed in the post, it will look bad there, because there we don't need this margin bottom. So what we can do, it's a bit of trick. I'm gonna add this margin bottom to the footer, because this footer is gonna be visible only here, and it's not gonna be visible in our home screen in the post. So I'm gonna add it here. We still have here space between the comments. That's good. But in a moment when we will do this conditional rendering of optional items. And what else do we need here? While we're here, I was thinking also to implement the state of our heart, because now if I press on it, nothing happens. So for that, let's import useState from React to keep the state of whether a comment is liked or not. useState. And from React Native, I'm going to import a pressable, add it here to wrap our icon with a pressable. And on press, this is going to be toggle like function, which we will implement in a moment. Okay, let's close our pressable. Perfect. Toggle like, let's declare here const toggle like. It should do something with a state, but before that we need to add that state. So is liked, set is liked, equal use state initially can be false. And here in the toggle like, what we're gonna do, we're gonna call the setter, set is liked. Yeah, the current value, we are just going to reverse the current value from the state. Now let's play with the icon itself. So here the name of the icon will depend on whether it's liked or not. If it's liked, it's gonna be heart. Otherwise, it's gonna be heart O, which represents heart outline. So if I like one of it, yes, I see it field there. And for the colors as well. So if is liked, it's gonna be colors dot accent, right? Now if I like it, yes, it looks better now. One trick here that I want to teach you is with a pressable. Right now this icon is very small, and if I press near the icon, nothing happens. And this in some cases is a bad design, because for people it's gonna be very hard to press it with a thumb, especially if you have bigger thumbs. So the pressable has some ways to deal with this issue. So if we look at the documentation of a pressable, we see that, for example, this is our pressable button, but we can increase the hit rect, the rectangle of where the hit or the presses will be detected, and we can increase this by setting a hit slope. So if I set to this like pressable a hit slope, a very huge hit slope of 100. Now if I press even here, you see that it works very weird, because this hit rect was expanded very much. So in our case, we can increase it to, I don't know, like 2. And now if I press very close, but not on the icon, it will work, or even more, I don't know, like 5 can be enough. So here, if I press on this one, works. If I do very close as well, it works. Yeah, this is the trick that you can use in order to increase the rectangle where your pressable detects clicks. Okay, everything is fine with our styles of the comments for this specific page. However, if I go to the app.tsx and change back to home screen, come on, home screen, we will see that we have also updated the styles of the comments on the homepage for the post here. So as we said in the beginning, we need to somehow send a property that will indicate whether we need to render the details of a comment, like the image and the footer, or not. So in our components, comment component, let's add this in our interface for the properties. And how will we call it? Let's call it, I don't know, include details, right? Probably it's not the best name, but it will do its job. Include details. The default value, it's going to be a Boolean. Details is going to be a Boolean. And also let's destructure it here and assign a default value, because if we don't send it, what should be the default value? Include details. Probably the default value should be a false, right? So from our comments screen, because in the comment screen we want to include details in our comment. Perfect. Now let's go in app.tsx, no, in comment.tsx, and based on this include details, render some of the things conditionally. For example, this image of the user should only be displayed if we want to include details and the image like this. If I save, it should disappear from here because we are on homepage. Yes, it did. And the same thing should be with the footer. So here, if include details, then render the footer. Footer should also disappear. Yes, and yeah, now our comments on the home screen are back to normal. The only thing that I don't like is the space here that we see on the left, right? So where is it coming from? For example, our comment, does it have any? No, it doesn't have any margins. Our comment text has margin horizontal. So what I'm thinking is that we are going to move the margin horizontal from the comment text to the avatar. And it will still keep the space between the avatar and the text. But here we get rid of the extra space on the left. And let's move back to our comment screen to see if we didn't mess up anything there. Yes, and here the comments are displayed as expected. Probably something is off with the space because we added a little bit more space than needed. So for the avatar margin horizontal, probably margin right only because it has enough space on the left. Yes. And what else? What else? I see that, yeah, because we removed from the comments text the spacing. Now our footer has some extra space to the left. So footer text has margin horizontal. Let's move all the margin to the left. So instead of margin horizontal 5, we're gonna do margin, not left but right. Margin right 10. Okay. And the spacing is the same, but now it starts from the same horizontal line with the text. All right, so in the next video, we're gonna cover the input box where you'll be able to add your comments. So see you there.